Today's topic is triangle mid-segments. Okay, a mid-segment of a triangle is a segment connecting the midpoints of two sides of the triangles. So for example, if you look at the diagram to the right and see on either side of D we have the same length, and on either side of E we have the same length, that means DE is your mid-segment here because it hits the midpoints of the sides. Okay? If the triangle mid-segment theorem says if a segment joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle, then the segment is parallel to the third side and half as long. Okay, so what does that mean here? In the diagram above, so if a segment joins the midpoints, that means DE in this example, then it is parallel to the third side. So these two are parallel, and then you can think about theorems with parallel lines. Those would all apply, okay? And it is half as long. So DE would be 1/2 AC, okay? All right, so a lot of things to come out of a triangle mid-segment. So using the diagram above, what are we saying? What are we seeing? DE would be parallel to AC, and DE would be 1/2 AC. Okay? All right, so then we're gonna get a lot of questions about all of those, that theorem and definition, all of that, okay? So number one, identify all pairs of parallel segments, okay? So if you look here at all of your markings, so XY is definitely a mid-segment, okay? Then what else is a mid-segment? So on either side, you have the same dashes, okay? Well, WY is a mid-segment. On the left side, they both have one dash, and on the right, they have three. And XW is also a mid-segment, okay? So we'll say all the parallel segments with each mid-segment. All right, so I'll start with XY. That is parallel to QS. Okay, XW, that is parallel to the whole side RS. And our last mid-segment, WY, that is parallel to QR. Okay? Next, identify all pairs of parallel segments again. So we have the same kind of thing going on here, okay? KL, that's going to be parallel to GF. Okay. JL, that's going to be parallel to GH. Okay. Then JK is parallel to FH. Okay. All right, so now some problems with numbers. Let's see what happens here. So if L, M, and N are the midpoints of the sides of triangle PQR, find each measure. Okay, let's mark that up first with these mid segments, or the midpoints, I mean. Okay, so on either side of L, we have the same length. On either side of M, the same length. And either side of N, the same length, okay? So that obviously means, here's your mid-segments. We have 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's go ahead and put our measurements in the diagram. PR is 46, so that would be this whole thing. Okay. PQ is 40, so this whole thing. And LN is 17. Okay. That's one of our mid-segments, 17. All right. Find each measure. Okay, so the mid-segment is half of the third side, the parallel side. Okay. So if you think about that, we can just divide the parallel side by 2 to get our mid-segment, or we can times our mid-segment by 2 to get the outside parallel side, okay? So LM is going to be half of 46, right? So that'll be 23, because that's what its parallel side is. And then NM is going to be half of 40, so 20. Okay, and then QR is going to be double 17, 34, okay? And then I like to label my diagram a lot of the times and then fill this out, but it's up to you how to do it. LM is 23, MN is 20, QR is 34, and MR, that is, I can get it in green, this chunk here, MR, okay, which we haven't directly talked about, but since M is a midpoint, either side has to be the same, okay, so that's going to be half of 34, 17, okay? All right, now, number 4. We have FG and H are the midpoints of the sides of triangle CDE. FG equals 9, GH equals 7, and CD equals 24. Find each measure. Okay, so we have FG is 9. Okay, then GH is 7. And CD is 24. This entire thing is 24. So its parallel mid-segment is FH, and that would be half of it, 12. Okay? So let's go ahead and find all of the sides, all the side lengths, and then I'll fill this out. Okay? And you're going to have to do that whether you do it now or later, because it wants a perimeter of CDE. Okay, so the parallel side to GH is CE, and that would be double 14. And the parallel side to GF is 9. Okay, and if you can't do these squiggly things, another common way to draw a measurement of a side is this. Okay, so from E to D, it is 9 times 2, 18. Okay. Alright, this should be enough to answer our questions. So CE, that's down here, 14. DE, we just found that out, 18. FH is 12. And so the perimeter is going to be all 3 sides together, added together. 24 plus 14 plus 18, 56. Yep, 56. Okay. All right, so now these have all been values. 5 and 6 deal with x, so we're going to have to solve for x somehow. got to figure out the relationship and then what we're going to do with it. Okay, so I have, this is clearly a midpoint because either side is the same, and a midpoint, either side is the same. So that makes this green line here a mid-segment, okay? So that means 7x, 2 times 7x equals 17x minus 18, okay? Because it's half as big as your big side. So I would times that by 2. It's a little bit easier than doing the big side times a half, because then you have a fraction or a decimal. So 14x equals 17x minus 18. Negative 3x equals negative 18. X equals 6. Okay. All right, number 6. Find the value of x. Same thing here. So again, instead of taking this times a half and distributing, that is a little bit harder than just taking your smaller segment and times it by 2, okay? And we know that 6x plus 31 is a mid-segment because they join midpoints of either side. So we'll do 2 times 6x plus 31 equals 19x minus 36. Okay, so 12x plus 62 is 19x minus 36. So I'm going to subtract 12x and add 36 to both sides. Okay, so that will give me 98 equals 7x divided by 7. 14 equals x. Okay, and if I were to plug that in here to 6x plus 31, it should be half of your big side. So you can always check your work. All right, let's move on to